Hi, this is Vic Dorfman from justrecord.it, and in this video I'm going to explain the basics of Slack. Now, one of the beautiful things about Slack is that it's pretty intuitive, but it is very feature rich, so it's good to just get a quick overview of kind of what it's capable of. Now, first of all, when you open Slack, the first thing you're going to see is you're going to see this menu on the left-hand side, which contains all of the channels for your team. It comes preloaded with some default channels, which is general, random. I think it's just general and random are the default channels. And then what we do, and what you may elect to do as well, depending upon your needs, is we actually create channels to sort of create motherfucker shit. Is we actually use channels to keep track of various parts of our business. So for example, we have our help desk solution, which is Freshdesk, integrated with Slack so that anytime we receive a support ticket in that inbox, in that Freshdesk inbox, we get a notification in the support channel for Slack. Now, the reason that this kind of integration is useful is that in order to answer a support reply, you have to go into your support desk. Now, Slack, its real value isn't just in the fact that it's a team chat, it's that it's a hub, it's a central location to keep all of the stuff in your business in one place. So you don't have to constantly open a zillion different tabs, go here and there and open your help desk and open Twitter and open this thing and that thing, unless it's necessary. And so when you're notified that you have a ticket, you can quickly see, well, is this a ticket that I need to reply to? Is this a ticket that somebody else needs to reply to? Is it just a notification that we receive in this email inbox? So for example, you can see that we've got like a spam message here, okay, and then we've got a marketing message here. So these don't actually require a reply. And if you have dedicated support staff, the beauty is that you can actually leave this channel. You don't need to be a member of any particular channel, and so that only the people who need to look at support replies are going to be looking at them, while those people who don't need to look at the support replies won't see them, so you won't distract them unnecessarily. Now then, you have a general channel where you just sort of talk with your team and talk about different things that concern everybody, which is why it's the general channel. Then you have a random channel if you want to just goof off. Then in our case, we have a recruitment channel, which we haven't made use of yet. Then we have the support channel, which I just showed you. Now, this is another really useful integration here, is we've made a Trello channel. And the purpose of this is similar to the Freshdesk support channel, is it gives you a quick overview of the different Trello cards that are flying around your Trello board. So a lot of times you can just scroll through this really quickly and just get a quick overview of what everybody's doing, and just make sure that the items that you need to get done are getting done. Like for example, here's my Trello board. Okay, you can see there's quite a lot of stuff here, and when we get a notification here, then we'll know that, oh, that one important item has been completed, okay? And actually, I found that working with a few teams that this integration is a bit redundant because the team spends so much time in Trello anyway that getting these notifications is sort of like taking up extra space in their brain that they don't really need to see this stuff. So again, this is something you may wish to do, may not wish to do, but or may wish to just do for certain team members. But again, you can leave any channels that you don't want to be a part of, and so can any of your team members. And then we have a Twitter channel. We also haven't made use of this yet either, but the idea here would be that anytime you get a Twitter notification or somebody retweets one of your tweets, then whoever is responsible for your social media or for your marketing will see it and be able to like it or retweet it or thank the tweeter or whatever the case may be. But Oh, and also you have the direct messages functions. This is just where you speak with your team. At the moment, it's just myself and our co-founder, Roland. In here, we did have other people on the team, as you can see here. We had a bunch of other people, but they're not on Slack at the moment. Now, I've written this before, and I'll say it again, which is Slack, the art of using it is to give the people on your team the information that they need when they need it, and to keep information from people who don't need to see it from distracting them from their job. Okay, so that's sort of the idea is to judiciously use these integrations and to help your team members to facilitate your team, and this onboarding videos hopefully will help you do that, to facilitate them to understand that, look, you don't need to be a member of any particular channel. You can turn notifications off, etc., etc. Now, really quick, really cool thing that I love about this Trello integration, I'm just going to mention it briefly because I know that so many folks use Trello, and I love Trello personally, so I definitely use it. Now let's say that, for example, I open a card and I'll add a comment to my teammate here. I'll just say ignore this comment, it's a test. Okay, and I'll click send. Okay, and you can see that right away I get the desktop notification. It says here's a Trello card, it's a comment. You say here's a new comment. Now, one integration that you can build in, and I haven't actually added it to this particular Slack account just because we don't have enough cards flying around to justify it yet, is anytime somebody makes an comment inside Trello, to send a direct message to the person, letting them know that they have a comment in Trello. And the beauty of that is that you can then reply to comments. So let's say, for example, that this were my personal inbox rather than the Trello channel. If Roland had made a comment for me, then I would have received a notification in my personal inbox here as a direct message that said, hey, Vic, blah, 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 here, and whatever the content of the comment was. And then what I'd be able to do, rather than having to search through all of these dozens of cards and look for this little tiny comment bubble, okay, which it's so easy to miss those, which is the whole reason we came up with the integration in the first place with using Zapier. Instead of doing all that crap, you can just look in Slack and see that, okay, you got a direct message. And then what I do is I actually star each Trello comment, as I address it inside Trello. Okay, so I got a comment. Okay, I'll address the comment. I'll reply, say at Vic, blah blah blah, and then once I reply, I'll add the star here, and so that as all of these comments accumulate in my personal inbox in Slack, I will know that, hey, look, I've addressed all of these comments, and then there's some comments that I haven't addressed yet that need my attention. Okay? Now, let's take a look at some of the settings in Trello. Actually, before we do that, let me just show you one more feature here, or a couple more features here. And let me actually access Slackbot. Now, Slackbot is sort of your chalkboard of sorts. You can just post stuff here and experiment with various integrations. You can see here that I activated the Google Hangouts integration for Slack. And the cool thing about this integration is all you have to do is type /hangout, all right? And it's going to start a Google Hangout. And then it's going to give you the link to that Hangout. And then you can hand out the Hangout link to whomever you'd like to invite to the call. Here it is. And so that saves you the trouble of having to go to Google Hangouts.com or whatever the URL is, start a thing there. In other words, like I said, everything is centralized inside Slack, and it becomes your hub. So you don't need to leave this area. It really saves time, and it also prevents something called a cognitive penalty when you're constantly switching between various tasks and various tabs in your browser. You get sort of distracted and you forget, like, oh, what was I doing a minute ago? Oh yeah, and you remember. So in other words, it sort of keeps your mind organized by keeping your workspace organized. The two are certainly reflections of each other. And building on that theme, if you type /, you have all of these different kinds of commands available to you. Do not disturb, invite somebody, leave a channel, message, bring up the shortcuts dialog, and then you'll have additional commands depending on which integrations you've activated for Slack, which are going to depend on your business needs, of course. Now, a few more things. We've got emoticons, emote icons, and emoji. I don't know what the plural of emoji is. I think it already sounds plural. Emojis, I suppose. And so you can use those. You can click on this little plus icon and upload a file, create a snippet, create a post, or import something from Dropbox. We don't use Dropbox, so that's not relevant to us. Now you can see that for each message, it has message actions attached to it. So you can add a reaction, like you can like a message. Okay, I'm going to like it. You can copy the link to a particular message. So that's really useful, because you have hundreds upon hundreds of messages. You don't want to have to make whoever you're referencing the conversation to scroll through and find the post in question. Just copy the link and send that to them. Now, there are more message actions here. You can mark it as unread, pin to the conversation, add a reaction, copy link, or delete the message. Okay, all pretty self-explanatory stuff. Now, one of the huge selling points of Slack to me, even though it's free, up to a certain point, is the search. The search in Slack is absolutely fantastic because what it does is anytime you search for a term, so for example, let's search for the term Wednesday. Okay, you type Wednesday, and it brings up not only the search results themselves, but the context in which that word is mentioned. So you can see here's the main card, and here are the surrounding, or the main post, I should say, and the surrounding posts. Okay, here's the main post and the surrounding posts. Okay, here's a post that I made that says I got another sales call Wednesday morning, and it shows me what was happening around that same time. Okay, so you can basically find anything with Slack in 30 seconds or less, even with a really complicated, even with a lot of team members. So that is super useful. Now let's just take a look at these buttons here. You can see that we have conversation settings. You can view conversation details. You can view the profile of the person whose profile you're on. Okay. Show conversation details, pinned items, shared files. Okay, so this is sort of like a summary of the stuff that's happened, the significant stuff that's happened in that conversation. Show activity, okay, mentions and reactions. Okay, this is sort of like a feed, kind of like a Facebook feed in a sense. Show starred items, again, super useful if you are using the stars as a sort of checklist, which we do and a lot of other teams do as well. Okay, more items. Your files, this shows all of the files that you've posted in conversations, all files, team directory. If you have a big ass team, you might need to reference a directory. Help, what's new. Okay, so I've basically given you Slack in a nutshell. Okay, the rest of it is just chatting and posting files. Now, I should say that when you post files in Slack, like let's say you post a link to a Google Drive file, it will actually embed the file right in Slack. Or if you post a YouTube video URL, it will actually embed the YouTube video in the conversation, which again, the purpose of that, coming full circle, is that you don't have to leave all the time in order to consume whatever information you and your team are sharing with each other. You stay in Slack. Okay, what else? Okay, let's just take a quick look at, we've covered the most important stuff, and like I said, it's intuitive, so you're going to figure it out on your own. But let's just take a look at the main settings real quick. Okay, let's see, profile and account. Okay, all of this stuff is self-explanatory. Let's just take a look at what you will actually probably use, which would be the apps and integrations tab. Okay, now Slack somewhat recently unrolled their app directory, and you can integrate Slack with just about anything now. Okay, for better or for worse. I think for better. And so if I want to integrate with Trello, for example, alrighty, click on Trello, and I've already got it integrated, which is why it says configure rather than install, but let's go ahead and click on configure. Okay, and we can sort of manage our configuration. So edit configuration. Okay, and it allows you to select the extent of the integration or the nature of the integration. In other words, do you want notifications for any and every action that happens within the source application, or do you just want it for certain events? Okay, which channel do you want the stuff posted to? In this case, we want it posted to the Trello channel, which we created specifically for that purpose. Okay, and so on and so forth. Now, if I go back to Slack, okay, let's actually go back here. And let's go to preferences. Okay, advanced options. Actually, not preferences. Let's go to profile and account. Okay. View preferences, open account settings. Okay, what I'm trying to find is all of our integrations. You can see that Slack has a ton of options, and most of them are, self-explanatory. There's no need to be redundant and explain that stuff, because you're going to figure it out once you see it. Okay, and I click on this menu, and okay, here we go, configure apps. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so just for future reference, you can just remember that it's the URL of your Slack page or account /apps/manage. And that'll take you to all of your installed apps and any other apps you wish to configure. Now, you can see we have Freshdesk integrated, we have Google Drive integrated, we have Google Hangouts integrated. Zapier, I think, is integrated. No, Zapier is not integrated. We have Dropbox integrated, although we don't use Dropbox anymore. And all that happens when you connect an app is that you allow the two applications to speak with one another, quote unquote, and anytime action A occurs in the source application, then action B, both of which you define, will occur inside Slack. So you can do so much stuff in terms of integrating, but again, I repeat my caveat that you want to make judicious use of integrations and applications, because it's very easy, and I've done this, to get excited about all of the integrations that you can make and go ahead and integrate a zillion things, and it just clutters up Slack, okay? And people start complaining, team members start complaining, they say, hey, why are we getting all these notifications? This isn't relevant to us. Or even if it's only kind of slightly relevant, it's still annoying because it's distracting them from work, and they're getting, by the way, you get email notifications as well, so it's not like you're free from, from the grip of constant messages from Slack. But you can turn that off as well, as I have. So I hope this overview has been useful. I think there isn't really much to explain, which is the beautiful thing about Slack. You can create channels here, by the way. You can manage your notifications here, by the way. And you can invite people here. Okay, so if you have any questions, or if you think I can improve this video and make it more valuable, or explain something better, or explain something that I failed to explain in this video, please just let me know. I'll be happy to rework this video just to make it more useful to you. Okay, talk soon.